The Wolves of Naptown podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed here are not intended as factual information, and it's essential to do your own research. We respect cultural differences, personal choices, and beliefs, and although we do not intentionally try to offend, we understand that it's very possible we may do so. Remember, we are not revealing anything about ourselves. Our goal is to entertain. Please listen with caution and enjoy the show.
To the Wolves of Naptown podcast with your hosts, Madam Boss Lady and Starship West.
All right. We are back. Another new episode of the Wolves of Naptown podcast. Let's go ahead and let's just clap it up here. All right. We are very, very happy to be back here in front of everybody here for you. And let's just go ahead and let's introduce ourselves here. Over here to my left, I have the wonderful Boss Lady. Let's go ahead and let's clap it up for the Boss Lady. How are you doing today, Boss Lady?
Excellent, sir.
All right. And I'm the one, King Petty himself, Starship West.
King Petty.
Clap it up for me. You know what I mean?
Always clap it up for me.
Right. I wonder, you know what I'm saying, if I didn't have to clap it up for myself, would you clap for me? Would you? Like, I don't know.
Everybody clap for you. Why would nobody clap for you?
You gotta be your own biggest supporter as well.
Gotta be your own biggest supporter.
Yeah.
There you go.
The way that we follow.
All right. And I want to go ahead and I want to tell y'all about our show. For those of you who are just now finding us out here, we are a show that we pretty much will talk about anything that will happen in the world, happen locally, statewide, worldwide, double wide, space wide, any wide, just wherever. We can talk about whatever, but what we will do is we'll go ahead and we will put ourselves in those shoes and we will talk about pretty much how we would handle that situation. Now, we may give you some great advice, or we could just go petty. I don't know, man. We're not going to be too petty today. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try and rein it in a little bit today. We'll try and rein it. We'll try and rein it in a little bit today. But let me go ahead. Let's fade it out here, and we're going to go ahead and get here to our guests we have in studio. So let me go ahead and just fade it out here. All right. And once I'm sure that stopped here, let's go. Yeah, there we go. All right. So we're going to go ahead, man. We're going to pick it up here. Let me make sure I can go ahead and just get everything in front of me here so I can go ahead and do this right. Just picking it up here. Now, in front of us here today, we have a Noblesville-based hip-hop artist. He's 19. Hey, I'm trying to tell you, hey, man, he just coming off of his album release of Death Proof, also his mixtape series, Cam, The Mix Volume 3. In studio today, we have Cam in the building.
Hello. Cam.
What a great introduction. Thank you, Wes.
All right.
I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. And also in studio, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the new song here that Cam is going to be releasing here very shortly. Mm-hmm. But we also have in studio with us, let me make sure I get this right. Mm-hmm. This is Myka, right?
Yes, Myka Hill.
We have Myka Hill in the building. Let's go ahead and let's clap it up for Myka Hill. All right. So Cam, man, welcome here, man. Welcome to Wolves of Naptown podcast.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So before we get started here, do we have anything that we want to go ahead and talk about as far as what happened to us today or anything about that, man? I mean, it's snowing while we're recording right now. It's snowing, so we got the first snow of the season.
Kind of depressing.
Everybody's okay. Everybody's cool.
Everybody's good.
Yeah.
Everybody's cool. All right. So let's go ahead, man. Let's get into it, man. So I just want to make sure. So it's Cam, right? It's just
correct.
Cam.
Correct. I always introduce myself as Cameron, but my stage name is Cam. Yes.
All right. Okay. So first things first, man. talk about just how you came up with just calling yourself Cam, right? I mean, is it just like, just make sure it's just kind of just easy, just kind of like, well, you know, it's Cameron, so you Cam.
Yeah. So my family always just called me Cameron. Like if anybody but my family called me Cameron, I didn't take it a certain way, but it was just like, oh, they called me Cameron, like that's odd, because only my mom and dad call me that. So like all my friends have always just called me Cam. That's what I've always made my music under. That's what people at school called me. Yeah, it's always just been Cam.
All right. So you don't worry about kind of like getting confused any of the other artists out there.
Not at all.
Maybe, you know.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I mean, I like the confidence here.
Don't mistake it
like that. All right. You know, and then I like your answers because, you know, I've had, you know, different stage names myself, you know, and there's always, I kind of get into like, man, having to explain just how I got there and whatnot. You know, I just kind of feel like if no one even asks you just why you just, you know, you go by Cam, people that know that you're Cameron, just like, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
You know, that's why, you know, West is my real name. That's why I just go with like Starship West, you know. You know, I don't want to just use my full government name. I mean, that wouldn't be fun, right?
No, not at all.
That wouldn't be fun, right?
No,
right,
you know, you gotta be a Starship.
You know,
Oh,
but I have my real name in there, so you know, people can kind of just accept it. Like, okay, yeah, his name is West. You know what I mean?
Starship West just sounds dope. Like it just sounds
appreciate that,
dope.
man. Just clap it up for that, man. Yeah. Clap it up for that, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that for real, man. So let's go ahead, man. Let's talk about your upbringing here, right?
Yeah.
Now, we introduced you as being from Noblesville, right? But you
Right.
actually grew up in Marion, Indiana, right?
Correct.
All
Correct.
right. So, as far as growing up in Marion, like, has that had any impact on like how your perspective, or like how you shaped your sound musically?
I wouldn't say how it shaped my sound musically, but I would say my personality and my mannerisms and the way I carry myself, for sure. As a person, it definitely shaped me. Now, Marion is a very culturally diverse place, and it's I lived there for 14 years. I was born here, but shortly after we moved back to Marion, and then I moved back up here my freshman year, and there was a lot of different things that went on there. I grew up playing basketball. I always made music. I always had an interest in it, but it wasn't till I moved up here that I really started taking it seriously. And Marion is a dope place. I love growing up there. I love the city, but there was a lot of things that happened in that town that shaped me to be the person that I am. And I have an amazing family. I have an amazing family that supports me. They love what I do. But the town has a lot of issues, and I carry that, and I learned a lot of things from being there. My family is amazing, but there were some people that I grew up with. They weren't into doing great things, but I think that a lot of people are learning, and I think it's going towards a new direction in that town. And I love where I come from, and I wear it proudly. And yeah, it definitely shaped me to be the man I am today, because I learned a lot of different things from many different people. There was a lot of different cultures that were in that place, and it also just has to do with the fact that when I moved up here, I bounced around probably 7 or 8 different school systems. And
really?
Yeah. And it wasn't for any bad reason. It's not like I was getting kicked out or doing bad things. It was just situation in life, and just having to go different directions. And I found that certain places didn't fit me. It's not like I was moving to run away because I didn't fit in or something. It was just there was a lot of
better opportunity, huh?
100%. It was better opportunity. I'll tell you this. My freshman year, when I moved up here, I originally transferred to the Hamilton Southeastern school system. I was enrolled for like 2 weeks doing online classes. Then I moved to Noblesville. Then I went to a school called Hamilton Heights. And then I transferred back to another school in Marion, which is a private school where I played basketball. I was halfway online, and then halfway in person. But I say all this to say that going from different places growing up, it taught me a lot about a lot of different people, and I learned to understand people better. I learned to be more compassionate. I learned to know that I don't know what anybody's going through at home. I learned that you can find good in every situation that you are put in, and everybody, I believe everybody is a good heart, but sometimes it's how they grow up that may pull them away to another direction. And I just had to learn to be loving, learn to be compassionate, and learn to have empathy. So growing up in a lot of different living situations, not living situations, I always stayed with my family, of course. I have an amazing family. But just being around a lot of different people, I learned how to treat people and how to treat people with respect, because that is what's most important. And I also learned how to be a gentleman, because I think that being a gentleman means that not just dressing modestly or always knowing the right thing to say, but making sure that everyone in the room feels comfortable when you're there.
I got you.
So growing up, I would say I describe my coming up as I've been around every type of people possible, and I learned a lot of different things from everyone. No matter what they were doing in life, I always treated everybody with respect. There was people I would stay away from because I know what's best for me and I know what's best for myself and my people. But just being around a lot of different people, it taught me to be compassionate, be loving, and to always treat people with respect, because you don't know what they're going through.
I want to clap it up there for that. That's like that. All right, and that's a great answer. That's a great answer, man. So, I mean, you mentioned, saying how much, man, how much you love your parents, right? Saying how much they influence you, right?
Of course.
So, some of the information that, I asked you to provide to us so we can know a little bit more about you and doing the interview.
Yeah.
You talked about how your father, was kind of the influence for you to kind of get into music here.
Yeah.
Going, listening, to live country music, but also being the one that kind of introduced you to hip hop. And talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So the first hip hop song I ever heard was Warren G's "Regulate," and I fell in love.
Regulators.
Regulators. Yeah. I fell in love after that because I heard that song and I was like, damn, this bass line is deep and it rumbles the whole car. This sounds so cool. But then I did my research and I really learned to grow and understand the art of hip hop and what that actually means. And it didn't take getting older it just took getting older to really understand why people make hip hop, why it's used as a form of expression, and why I think it's the most powerful form of expression that there is. And that's because hip hop is so content based. It's so lyrical based. And when you listen to an alternative song, your emotions may be guided by the instrumental. Maybe there's a string part, but with hip hop, with old school like classic hip hop, it's a lot of it is a 2-track. Like if you listen to any 90s hip hop, it's like MPC, a soul sample chop, drum break, and then there's lyrics. And what's important about hip hop is everything that you feel is driven by the lyrics, not just by the music. And I found that hearing hip hop from my dad, that resonated with me in a way that no other genre could. So that's how I fell in love with hip hop. The first hip hop album I bought was 2001. I bought it on iTunes for like $5, and that's the only thing I listened to for months.
That's a hell of an album to get right there.
Hell
2001, yeah. Dr. Dre. And you also mentioned that you got the Carter 3, right?
Yes.
Lil Wayne. All right, so first things first, what was your favorite song in there?
So the first song I heard off that album was Lollipop. But my favorite's A Milli, because I know that might be a basic answer, but I just love it. I still listen to it. I don't have any reason why. I just love that song.
Yeah, I think that was probably Lil Wayne's best album too.
I would agree.
Was probably Lil Wayne's best album, man. So that's one hell of a start. You know what I'm saying? I mean, really to hear "Regulate," man, by Warren G. You know what I'm saying? And they actually have Lil Wayne. I mean, and then to start rapping. So when the information I got here, it says right around 12, right? You really just started, just picking up the pen, or should I say, probably the phone, right?
The phone.
Yeah. The phone. The phone.
I got like 5 phones. Look. Yeah. See, I started on my phone, but as I got older, I found I had a more connection to writing on paper. So now at home, I have like 6 or 7 rhyme books that are just full of raps. I write on my phone to get ideas now, but to write full fleshed out songs, I always write on the pen.
Yeah, I mean, I am not mad at people that use their phone.
No, it's so
They're not
convenient.
mad.
It's
I mean,
great.
it is very convenient. You can have it right there versus just having the notepads and flipping through papers. You know what I'm saying? While the microphone is on and everything. So,
and what's great about technology is like being a creative, you're always working because you're inspired by everything around you, even in everyday life. And now you have the convenience of, oh, I have this cool song idea or a one-liner. You pull out your phone, write that down, and then it turns into a whole song later when you learn more. But that's what's great about technology is everything's so convenient.
Right. So let's go ahead. I want to talk about some of the music here that you got coming out right now. Or at least the music that you have out here, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I had a chance to listen to, Uma Thurman and Lasers, and we're going to talk about that later. That's that's going to be on Spaceman, right?
Correct.
All right. So I want to talk about that later here. But you also said that you had came out with your album Death Proof, right?
Yes.
All right. And you also have your mixtape series, right? So now you actually made a point to make sure that I knew about these. Like, how do these projects, pretty much connect you to your fan base, and helped you get to where you are here?
Yeah, so the mixtape series started when I was 12 and I first started making music. I made Cam the Mix Volume 1, the most basic name that I could think of. And a lot of it was just rapping on other people's beats, and that's when I was still writing on my phone. I didn't understand song structure. I didn't understand mixing. I didn't understand any of that. I just knew I had... I just was having a blast making music because I knew I would have fun doing it, and I quickly fell in love with it. I started the first one, and a year later I made the second one. This was 2018. I was 13, and then last year I dropped the third one, which is where I'm grown. I've learned more. I've matured as an artist. But Cam the Mix Volume 3 is just some turn up music that you shouldn't overthink. It's not too lyrical. It's not too deep. It's just some turn up shit, and then you get into Death Proof, and I'm talking about many subjects like mental health, things that I saw growing up, even anxiety, a lot of different subjects that are more taboo that I cover on the album. But I would say with my mixtape series, it is just some things that you shouldn't overthink. Just turn on in the car, play with your friends, play at the party, anything that you can just turn up to. That's that mixtape series. Yep.
Let me ask you, because is that where the name Death Proof comes in, as far as that album is just kind of like being like going through things, but finding a way through it, or being immune to that, or
Yes, so it kind of has a double meaning. So the first Tarantino movie I ever watched was Death Proof, and that's what it's named after. But as I was working on the album, I came to realize that it has a different meaning. And if you listen to the title track Death Proof, I talk about my anxiety and how I've learned that over time, through growing and maturing, I've started to relieve it because I was more confident in myself and I started loving myself. So that's where Death Proof, the title kind of comes from, is no matter what kind of adversity I'm faced with, no matter what trials I'm going through, no matter what may be going on in my life, that I know that I've lived through every trial I've ever been through, so I know I can do it again. That's what it's about.
Man, I want to clap it up. Because mental health issues, there are things that, a lot of us, is really all cultures, man, go through. All age groups go through, and, I can't say it enough, man. Anybody that wants to bring light to that subject, to kind of help out with that, for any age group that's going through that, I definitely want to just continue to clap it up for that. Thank you. Absolutely. So let's go ahead. I want to go ahead and get into some of the newer stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because, obviously, when you have a project like Spaceman, obviously I'm Starship West. It kind of just picks
you know what's funny? I have a song called Starship Troopers on that album. It's not
Starship Troopers.
And I made it a year ago. So it's just funny that we're here now.
Man, hey, you know what I'm saying? Everything aligns.
Yeah, everything aligns.
Let's set the stars and all of that.
Stars aligned.
All right, man. So I want you to talk about Spaceman, because you said it's like kind of like a sci-fi type of concept album.
Yes.
And, and I've heard, like said, Lasers, like Uma Thurman, that was hot too, the Uma Thurman 3. But Lasers, especially like the kind of like that double time type of, rap style.
Yeah.
And then how it kind of breaks down at the end of it. You know what I mean? Go ahead and talk about, what's going into this project, Spaceman.
So I will say this first. So for my last album, Death Proof, it was a bunch of songs that I knew I loved and would sound cohesive together that kind of just got thrown into a project. But I did that strategically. It's not like I made a bunch of songs and threw them together. This is it. I did it strategically, but they were songs I made over a course of 3-4 years. And they came in different forms, whether I just wrote them, decided to put it on a different beat later. The concept of the album was all the same, and there was probably 7 songs that stayed through the whole duration of making that album. So I'll say this. So with Spaceman, I'm doing things very strategically. I've had a couple songs for this album that I made about a year ago, but I really started honing in and working on this album, and I knew what I wanted out of it around June this year. So that's how long I've really been working on the album. But with this album, it's I'll tell you kind of the prologue for the storyline. I won't get too deep into it, not to ruin it. But basically, there's a government program called Redcon Corporation, funded by the government, completely private. Nobody knows it exists.
Okay.
And they are recruiting talented and very highly intelligent individuals from colleges and universities that score well on their astrology tests, anything like that. Just people they know would be good prospects. So they find this man. His name is Spike Vorton. They find him, and he kind of isn't given a choice. He's like, you're going to fake your death. Your family's never going to see you again, but you're going to be shipped alone to this galaxy called Selena 7b. And I say that to say that the theme of the album is about self-isolation, but also finding freedom and not being put in a box, and being able to do whatever you want, and being able to use alone time to benefit yourself later.
Hey man,
Like that.
hey man, I love a good theme project, you know. So I'm a big fan of like Pusha T and the Clips, you know.
Hell yeah.
And you know, a lot of times, a lot of things that Pusha T and really the Clips in general, like they have like concentrated theme like albums. Now, a lot of that's about drugs and stuff. We're not going to talk about that today. I mean, but to hear the concept for this project, you know what I'm saying, I can't wait to hear it now, you know what I'm saying, because I love, you know what I'm saying, storytelling. I love when there's something that's just kind of like all put together.
Oh man, there's skits across the whole project. It's an audio cinematic experience, 100%.
Audio cinematic experience, man. Oh yeah, you always clapping it up for that. You always clapping it up for that. That is what's up, man. So I just wanted, because you know, you mentioned like live instrumentation, right?
Right.
You know, and you know, I think I heard a lot of that, you know what I'm saying, in those tracks. So is that a point that you're trying to like get as much live instrumentation as possible in your music?
Not as much as possible, but enough to complement it and enough to get my point across and to get the feeling present. Because like with Lasers, I could have done that song like I had the beat and then I just wrote lyrics on it and then not included anything in the outro. I could have not got backup singers on it. I could have not added guitar. But I feel like that having live instrumentation and having a human feel just separates it in a certain way that connects with your soul more. And it's nothing you have to say, it's just something you have to do to give it more feeling. I do that on Uma Thurman 3. When you hear the hook, I'm feeling like Uma Thurman. You hear all these synths in the background, and then you have Jessica Cruz, who is also on the background vocals. She did Lasers and Uma Thurman. She's all over my whole album. She's great. And I do it because I was inspired by like country growing up. I was inspired by alternative, and I knew that I wanted to find a way to mesh the two without making it too obvious or like I'm trying to push it too much. I just wanted to have a little bit of sprinkling in there just because I love the way it sounds. I love adding strings.
Fun,
yeah, I love adding a live bass line, strings, trumpets.
It does set you apart. You know what I mean? Because you know, I like a lot of, you know, Outkast, right? You know, and so and Goody Mob, you know, and they use and they use a lot of the live instrumentation in their music, you know, and it's kind of like, you know, the way I've heard them make their music, it's like they would make the beat and then they were trying to find ways to like, you know, substitute what the artificial sounds, you know what I'm saying, with actual sounds, you know what I mean? And it does make a difference. Like when I heard those tracks and they're like, especially like their breakdown on Lasers, man, that mug was just cold. That was cold. Like I love that.
What's crazy is I watched that happen. It's such a cool experience being in the studio and like making a song and then knowing you want to do something more to make it feel more full or more complete or more movie score like almost, and just watching that happen and seeing somebody play a viola or singing background vocals, it's an experience I can't describe. It's so cool. So I have fun with it in the process, but hearing the finished product is even cooler.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I like that, man. I'm just gonna clap it up one more time. We can clap it up. We clap all the time. Hey man, we're positive, right? And so now this new song here we're getting ready to get into. This is also going to be on the Spaceman project,
correct,
right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we're talking about "Fly Away."
Yes.
All right, and this is why we have Myka Hill, right?
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm so sorry because I get so she's got one of these names here that I'm just like,
you're
okay.
fine.
Make sure I'm saying it right here. Now this is dropping on the 21st, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. So go ahead, man. Talk about the backstory of how this collaboration came apart.
Yes, so this song is produced by Hit Dog, and I had never worked with him before, but he sent me a pack of beats, and I was going through all of them. I rapped on some. He has amazing hip-hop beats, but I just came across one, which is like the only like alternative indie sounding beat in the whole pack. And I was actually with Chandler at this time. I was going to a show, and we heard the beat, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I just like, I didn't know what the song would become later, but I saved it for a couple weeks, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something with this. And I started writing it, and when I wrote it, I didn't even realize what I was writing it, or why I was writing it, or what I was writing it about. But I realized later that it was about, obviously I won't get into it, but a relationship that I had been through. And I kind of related to some of the things I was writing about, but I didn't realize that I was writing about that until after I wrote it. So, like, the first line is like, I thought you were the only one for me, but I was surely wrong. Like, those lyrics sound so surface meaning, but when you hear the other perspective on Myka's feature, it almost sounds like a conversation or two opposing sides. So my perspective is like, I wanted you to be here, but now I feel forced to walk away because I'm just not happy anymore. And when you hear Myka's perspective, it's like, I don't know why you act like it was all on me. You're the one packing your bags, you're the one trying to leave. It's like two opposite perspectives that were never communicated. And I feel like, I mean, this is just the one example of a relationship song on this album, but I feel like a lot of people deal with this or don't know the opposing side, not to fix it, but just to understand more. And I feel like this will speak to a lot of people. I think it's catchy. I love listening to the song. Even if I'm not listening to the lyrics, it's just a vibe. So there's a concept behind it. It's just a conversation between two people who don't understand each other.
I got you. I got you. Now, before we get into the song, and it's going to be a question there for both of y'all, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, when people listen to Fly Away, like, what should we take away from it? And I want both of y'all to answer that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this was a really cool collaboration because he sent me the song, he sent me the demo, and we didn't really talk about the reason why we wrote it. So I kind of got to hear what he had to say, and it turned into this conversation, this missed communication. And he just like worded it perfectly. I feel like it's just two perspectives, and probably a lot of people have been through a relationship like this where it feels like, hey, this is what's happening, this is what you're doing, and the other person's like, well, you're not even seeing this, and I think that two things could be true at the same time. I think like people can relate to that, and hopefully people that have been through that can ultimately grow from it and listen to this song. And it's a fun song. It's an upbeat song. Like, it sounds super fun, and then you listen to it and it's actually kind of sad. But hopefully, if people can relate to it, they can relate to it as something that they've been through, and they can work on not going through again that miscommunication.
So are you saying that you had the beat and you kind of started the song, but you both put lyrics on it, like you?
Correct. I had no idea what she was gonna write when I sent her the song, but she did it exactly how it sounded in my head.
Really?
Even better. Like it was great because not to cut you off. Sorry.
No.
But when we made the song, like relationships are so weird because two people can be amazing people who are very good people and they have good intentions, but because of their family dynamics or how they grew up, they just will never understand each other no matter how hard they try. And that's what it's kind of about. So when I wrote it, I was just like, oh, my heart's broken. Like, that's how I wrote it. But then when I sent it to her, like, she put the puzzle pieces together in a way that I didn't even know what she was going to write about, and she made it the song a concept. I didn't know what kind of concept it would sound like until she was done, and then once I hear the full fleshed out song, I'm like, okay, this is what it's really about. It's not just getting your heart broken. It's about two people who don't understand each other.
So when you sent your part to her, did it have your lyrics in it already?
Correct. Yep.
Oh, and you just added it. Okay.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is there was no communication about what the song was going to be about.
No,
I was like,
right.
yeah, just add something. And then we made something that was cohesive and it had a theme.
Yeah.
And you did that perfectly. I was blown away because when...
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And when I sent you the song, I had no idea what you were going to write about, but you did it just right. So...
Yeah, I'm just so honored to be on it. I've heard your stuff, and have been following along, and we know people, but when you sent me that, I was just so excited. I sat down in a day, sent him a demo, and it's so... I make more pop music, and a lot of them are heartbreak kind of songs, but I always love what I love about collabs, especially normally with a female male artist, and something like this is the conversation and the heartbreak and but the perspectives, and you didn't really ask anything of me except to just put something together, and you didn't tell me write about this, write about that. You didn't really tell me yourself what the song was about.
But it's also because...
But I think that's a little cool because you gave me that freedom, and I had that freedom to interpret, which might be different than what you were writing. But that's even what the song is. It's that the different perspectives and yeah.
It just worked.
Exactly. And I didn't want to give her any sort of direction because for this reason. Typically, I'll do that with artists. I know the vision I have for the song. But with her, I didn't. But it's because I know that she is in her own lane with pop music. I make hip-hop music, and alternative is music I like to make, but not something I'm, of course, an expert in. She does this. This is what you do. And, so when I gave her that song, I didn't give her any direction because... I knew that I trusted her ear. I've heard her music before, and I knew she was going to put together something great, but also something that made sense, and she did.
All right, that's what's up. So we're about to go ahead. We're about to get into this track here. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, so we're about to go ahead and get into it because I like it. I just love all types of music here. So we're about to go ahead, get into this new song. Let's go ahead, let's pick it up, and let's go ahead, let's get hype here. All right, this is Cam featuring Myka Hill with Fly Away here on the Wolves of Naptown podcast. Let's go.
Surely wrong. I thought you were the only one for me. That's why I wrote this song. I knew that you would walk away someday. I knew it all alone. I knew it all alone. And by the way, I tried to say that I'd be here waiting for you someday. By the way, I tried to say that I love you. But there's poison coursing through my veins. You told me that you needed space, so I flew 1,000 miles away. And I could try to make you stay, but you wouldn't listen anyways. So baby, now I have to fly away. You've been stuck inside your head, girl, where did I go wrong? I know that you've been thinking about me, girl, but I have been moved on. And I know that you've been wondering where I've been, but I'm breaking the chains. But there's poison coursing through my veins. You told me that you needed space, so I flew 1,000 miles away.
You will never see me again.
And I could try to make you stay, but you wouldn't listen anyways. So baby, now I have to fly away. You'll never see me again. You will never see me again. You will never see me again. I had to fly away, but I'll be home for you someday. When will you come back home? I don't know why you act like it was all on me. You're the one packing your bags, you're the one trying to leave. I know you'll make it. Never said that you couldn't. Tell yourself what you need to justify what you're doing. I know you're chasing your dream, and I'll never see you again. I know you're chasing your dreams, but now I'll never see you again. I had to fly away, but I'll be home for you someday. When will you come back home?
All right, we clapping it up for that right there. We are clapping it up for that, man. In fact, keep clapping it up for that, man. That's Cam featuring Myka Hill with "Fly Away." Oh my gosh, man! One more time, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, man. So, I mean, before we wrap this up here, man. So, when can we expect Spaceman? When can we expect
So, I don't like putting a timeline on projects that I'm creating, but I would love for Q1 next year.
that? I got you.
I would love for that.
I got you.
So we'll see.
All right, we'll see. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, and tell the Wolves of Naptown listeners, like, where can we find your music? Your social media handles, just anything. Saying where we can find all things Cam.
Yeah, so if you go Linktree, linktr.ee/Cam, you will find everything me. If you go to Instagram, look up Cam with 3 M's 317, you will find me. And if you go to Apple Music or Spotify, you look up Cam Death Proof, you look up my first album, or Lasers, or Uma Thurman 3, you could find me in any of those places.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and clap it up here for Cam. All right, Myka, we're gonna give you an opportunity to shine as well. Cam is paid for your spot, so go ahead.
Thank you so much.
And tell our listeners where we can go ahead and check you out and find all things Myka Hill.
Yeah, of course. If you want to find me on social media, my Instagram, TikTok is Myka Hill. It's spelled MYKA. Hill.wave, WAV. And then on Spotify, Apple Music, streaming services, Myka Hill. MYKA. Yeah.
All right. I want to go ahead, man, and thank both of y'all for coming in here.
Thank
to the Wolves of Naptown podcast. Man, they already told you where to go ahead and find them out. Go ahead, man, and support both of them, man, especially Cam. You know what I'm saying? Bring it in, man. Thank you. Hey, for real. Thank you so much for coming in.
Of course.
All right, for the Wolves of Naptown podcast. All right, man, we just want to go ahead, man, and thank Cam and Myka Hill for coming in here and talking with us here on the Wolves of Naptown. We're going to go ahead and at least get one question here before we end the episode. So, I don't know, man. I guess let me go ahead and just do this
right.
here. Because, the boss lady's going to be like, I don't have my glasses and all that other stuff.
Yeah, all that mess
So,
I
let's
do.
just go ahead and let's just get up in here. All right. Ooh, and it is kind of one of those questions here. All right. Oh, and it's a good one here for this episode. All right. So, boss lady, you and your partner disagree on how to raise your children, discipline, education, values, and is causing resentment and distance. Would you compromise, seek mediation, or prioritize your parenting philosophy?
I am going to compromise. I'm going to compromise because I got my ideas of what I want to do. And, you know I'm not the only one in this relationship, but what I might think is right might not always be right, but it's mostly right. So I'm going to compromise a little bit. Y'all know what it is. I do feel like I'm always right, but I will compromise because I feel like that's what keeps relationships together. So I'm going to bend just about 10% and let him feel like he got his way. And then, it's still going to be just me.
Really? All right. So, I mean, I almost don't even want to give an answer to this question because I don't have any children. So I want to just ask you just a follow-up question because obviously you were able to successfully raise, 4, children that I feel like they're all doing their thing, right?
They really are.
They're all doing their thing. So how did that go? Was there any point in time that you and Mr. Wonderful disagreed on how to raise your kids?
So how that went was we talked about having children before we had children. We mapped it out before. All those items in the question, we talked about that before we had the first kid. So how to raise them, what school they would go to, how we would nourish them as far as, spoil them or, whatever. We talked about all that. We both are from not so rich background. I hate to say poor and impoverished, but we really didn't have a lot. But back then, we really didn't think we was that poor. I didn't anyway. So with that being said, it was more or less like, okay, so I don't want my kids to have everything. I feel like that's what messes up children. So we agreed on that. We agreed because we wanted to send them to private school, or we talked about it, and we agreed not to do that because I feel like I'm a great person and I didn't go to a private school. So, and it pans out. I mean, just because they did end up finishing college, most of the kids ended up all of them went to college, and most of them finished college, and they turned out super successful and very much modest, very good children. So, it worked out. So we never did really disagree because we had the plan before we had the kid.
So I get that, man. But what if there was like some type of, okay, maybe Mr. Wonderful wanted to raise their kids or maybe raise the men in a certain way, you know what I'm saying? And you just kind of like, okay, this isn't really what we had talked about before. I mean, would you have been able to compromise, or would you have been like, okay, wait a minute, man. This isn't what our game plan was to start off with. We need to go ahead and stick with what we're doing.
True. So that kind of sort of did happen a little bit, especially with the boys, because, at some point, one of my boys was like really angry or whatever. This is something we didn't factor in. He got a little bit, I don't know, I guess it was really just like puberty. So a lot of the things he was going through, I didn't understand it, and he couldn't understand it because he was, this is hormones. So I tried to put my spin on what I thought was going on, and then I had to back up a bit to let his dad step in because I didn't know anything about that. Like, I don't know how a man is man. So a lot of it, it was me trying to fix something, and it wasn't supposed to be fixed. It was supposed to just work its way out. So let's just say it could have been a bully situation, or it could have been a whatever. And I'm steady trying to do what I think I would have done. But that was not the time for that. So even though I felt like he was struggling, he had to struggle to get through it.
And I agree with that, because I've, some of the friends that I have, some of my female friends, and especially the ones that either are single mothers or they're ones to where they, man, I hate to really say that, but maybe they kind of got like a beta male type of, situation that's going on. Some of those to where they kind of just do whatever the wife says, it's kind of like the happy wife, happy life, but they'll never really contribute at the end of the day if the wife gives any type of, no, this is what I really want to do, they got their way. You know what I mean? And so sometimes, when you're in that situation, it's like mothers, they're protectors. You know what I'm saying? You're protectors, you know what I'm saying? And you damn near like, wait a minute, somebody's hurting my cub. Let me do what I need to do to go ahead and make sure this goes away. Make sure this stops. I remember a story you know, and I didn't really have my father in my life. And so I remember a story. I was really, really young, really young child, you know, and I was getting bullied on the school bus here by this little black girl, right? So I'm being bullied. And the thing about it is, it's like, I knew I was taught, you know, because I was always a big kid and I was always bigger, you know what I'm saying? They're just like, you know, you're not supposed to put your hands on a woman, right? And so I'm sitting up there thinking, okay, I'm hamstrung because it's like, this person is picking on me, you know what I'm saying, hitting me. And, you know, you get older, man, maybe this girl actually liked me. And that's the way that she tried to, you know, put it out there. But it's just like, I couldn't do anything. It's like if I swung on her, then I would be the villain, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be suspended, you know. They definitely going to whoop my ass. And I got my ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no timeout. We in the, you know, in the scenario to where they got the belt. You either got if you're lucky, you got the belt. Right. You know, and if it was, you know, warm out, you went and got the switch. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and ask your grandparents about that. You know what I mean, man? But, you know, just to bring it home, though, it's just kind of like, you know, I asked, you know, my aunt, you know what I'm saying, was one of the female figures that helped raise me. And I was like, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? I can't hit this girl, you know, but she keeps doing this and she keeps, you know, and it just like at the point, it's like, oh, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the very next day, she went... I don't know if she got this woman's phone number or whatever, but it's just like, you know, she had made a phone call, and then when I got the next day, she was at the bus stop with me, and she went in and told me to wait. She went in and got on there. She talked to the bus driver. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
That's some mama stuff right there.
She talked to the bus driver, and then when I got on the bus, right, you know, I went and sat down. That little girl that was picking on me, she made it a point to come up to me, and she's so politely, it's like, you know, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really mean to be hitting on you like that, and I'm sorry. I promise it'll never happen again. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And then she never said anything to me again, but I sat up there thinking like, oh, I didn't really necessarily want that to happen. I would just honestly wanted permission to hit her. Like, that's really what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, being a mother and being protective, she was just like, oh no, man, we about to nip this in the bud. Don't worry about it. You ain't about to do that. Now, I always wonder if I had a male figure to go to, and what would that man have said for me to do? Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Would that man would have been like, oh, I'm about to go talk to their parents? Or would that man be like, nigga, you better, you know what I'm saying, suck it up here? You know what I'm saying?
I don't have a clue, because I do know this just from raising children, is that my way is just, women just do stuff. Like, we just be doing stuff. And men handle stuff so much different. Like, even now, when I talk to Mr. Wonderful, I just be like, I would have never done that. You know, just anything. Like, it doesn't matter what. In a regular, everyday situation, he does stuff that I just would not do. And I'm like, that's crazy. It blows my mind even today. So, to be honest, I was happy that I was able to step back, and I was biting my nails, because I'm like, I want to handle this. You know what I'm saying? But we knew we wasn't about to let them get to the streets, and we knew that, you know, by any means necessary. I didn't want them to have it easy. That's the reason why I kept them in public school. It's not supposed to be easy, because that's how you handle things in the real world. Because
I'm so happy you said that.
Yeah, because if you would have went to private school, you'd have had expectations. It would have turned out kind of easy, because all you have to do is fit in a certain mode. Right. You wouldn't have had the adversities of, you know, the challenges getting through school on a day-to-day basis, because people in IPS is kind of crazy. Yeah. So everything is different. It's not structured like it is when you paying tuition in a high school. So yeah, I was happy that we made that decision. I was happy that he stepped in, and you know, it's just something I wasn't supposed to handle, and it worked out.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I really don't have much to add to that, because again, you know what I'm saying, unfortunately I'm not a father yet, you know what I'm saying. I guess I gotta make a few more $1 million, you know what I'm saying, before I find somebody. Oh, you know, I guess this is what it is, man. I'll make a few millions.
I don't know about that.
You know, you don't know about that, man. I don't need a few $1 million, man.
Nah. You need to step on out there and get you.
I've been stepped up out there and I've been stepped on. It's all good. It's all good.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
Man. But man, shout out here to the boss lady, you know what I'm saying, for handling and bringing that question home. I'll make sure I go ahead and I'll take all the parenting questions out there next time so I have something to talk about. Anyway, boss lady, go ahead and let's tell the people of the Wolves of Naptown where they can find you at.
Y'all know y'all can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at madam.bosslady. Look me up.
All right. And I am the one, King Petty himself.
He is the one.
Although we really didn't get petty on this episode.
You did not.
We're
but
trying
I know
to be,
you had
we're trying to be light, say a little PG-13 on this one here.
Yeah,
but,
you did that.
But if you're interested in Starship West, man, you can find me at Starship West, pretty much on all social media platforms, on IG, on Facebook, on X, and on TikTok. You can pretty much find me at Starship West. You can also find the Wolves of Naptown podcast. Go ahead and check out our YouTube page. Go ahead and subscribe and like every video that you see. No, seriously though, you know what I'm saying? But
share the videos.
Yeah, right. Share the videos, like the videos, and most importantly, make sure you subscribe. And it's going to be at the Wolves of Naptown podcast on YouTube. Also, you can go ahead and subscribe to us on social media pages on IG and Facebook at the Wolves of Naptown podcast. Also on TikTok as well. And well, we don't have X yet, so whatever. But yeah, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Make sure you're following the Wolves of Naptown podcast. Also, hey, for those of you who are on the road and want to listen to the Wolves of Naptown, don't forget, Legacy Services. And we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on all of those platforms. Anywhere that you can get a podcast here or listen to a podcast, look up the Wolves of Naptown. More likely going to find us. All right, for the boss lady, I'm Starship West, and for our Wolves of Naptown audience, we will see you later.